is he going to start taking some maps?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa, a proxy hatchery here from Serral.
You know, if you open up with something incredibly all-in-y super early on in a game, guess what? Generally, the guy who wanted to do a crazy strategy doesn't get to do it because suddenly he's responding to you.
Yeah, indeed. And you know what? With Serral taking the third base previously, there's 2 spots that has to scout here. So he's not even going to realize that there's a proxy hatch for a really long time.
And you know what's interesting about this is because we saw Serral do this in game 1, Serral is navigating a best of 7 on genius level. Because Haas assumes, okay, I've seen the pattern already. I'm going to try to make the adjustments in my play and go into a proper mid-game. But it's not even the same game.
No. In fact, he did not even scout the other bases as of yet. He might turn around and do so, but you have to figure this out almost immediately to be able to stop it. Serral is very favored right now to win game number 2.
So, no spotting just yet. Now, I do also want to point out that Haas is a player who knows how to walk the line of cheese. And you have to know, if you're good at cheesing, you usually know how to defend against a lot of different things like this too. But is Haas going to be ready? Is he going to panic when he starts to realize that what he thought was going to happen this game is completely the opposite?
Well, his multitasking really isn't his strong suit. It's his strategy and his execution of those strategies. So I feel like this is going to be a very rough one for him. He can't quite see that creep yet. Oh, a crucial moment when that creep is seen.
A few pixels on the screen. Okay, it's coming forward. We have no confirmation if Haas's eyes have actually caught it just yet. And now he knows for sure.
Okay, the Stalker going to start pressuring a little bit, but Roach is on the way right now. The Stargate is proxied, so does he try to fly units home to defend, or does he just go and do some counter harassment? It's hard to say.
Not sure. It would seem like Void Rays would be a necessity here in order to hold off an attack like this. And you're right, the proximity of the Stargate there is going to make Void Rays no longer an option. Instead, it seems like he wants to go for an Oracle here. The Roaches and the Ravengers are up. There are batteries out here, but this isn't going to last that long, especially with the Corrosive Biles being targeted on the battery.
Yeah, he's having to heal that pylon as well. Very rough. Those are not going to help him out very much. The gateway's getting unpowered, no warp gate. These type of things can end the game.
Another shot, and that goes down as well as the pylon. I feel like we're almost to a checkmate here.
Yeah, it is looking that way. There is an Oracle out right now. Where does he go with it? It looks like it's going towards the main base.
He needs to do a lot of damage with this Oracle. If we can get a shot of the main of the Zerg, it's coming in right now, and there's nothing here to defend.
All right, definitely catching Serral a little bit off guard with this, but even if he kills these drones, how does he stop the army at his doorstep?
He needs to buy time, but right now there's a lot of muscle on the low ground. Haas is going to try to get a closer over here up inside of his main, but there's just nothing where he can warp in from, and the probes are being pulled. Even with this many batteries, I can't imagine it's going to be enough.
Yeah, he's going to go after the queens to start out here, which is a really smart move. Can he kill off these queens? Maybe the oracles can clean everything up.
He's trying to get rid of these queens, but still the Corrosive Biles landing, doing a lot more damage. Those batteries trying to heal up these probes. The probe count beginning to dwindle over here.
The cheeser has become the cheese. Can he actually hold on? There are so many roaches up here. A lot of probes have fallen. Very few left over for Haas, but he does have some oracles.
He just doesn't have any assets right now. These drones long distance mining as they've ditched the main. The oracles come down again and start to do some more damage. Now it's just these 2 queens for anti-air because you can always dodge Corrosive Biles with oracles. And we're now into very uncharted territory in this PvZ.
Oh, yeah. Multiple oracles coming out, but the queens have some transfusions. This is really tough. There's only 1 stalker out at the moment. And what? There's 2 workers for Haas and 4 for Serral.
Neither player has enough minerals to make another Nexus or hatchery. So what you see is what you get in this game.
Just 4 drones coming back, 2 more being made. This is something that Haas could clear out.
I'm sorry, there are no probes. Where's the 1 probe on the map? Are we able to find that over here? Okay, there it is. It's the one that was actually being made up there.
How many oracles now?
Oh, hold on.
Oracles coming in?
This is a lot of damage. The transfuses are going down, but they're now going to be out, and that's going to be a kill there on that queen.
The anti-air of Serral is going to be all killed. Oh my God, 5 oracles, a stalker, and a probe against 6 drones.
Oh my God. I can't believe.
Definitely looking to close this out.
He's done it once, Artosis. He could absolutely do it again. Now, we're going back into more ordinary territory as far as Zerg openings go. I think Serral maybe... oh.
A forge.
Whoa. Okay.
A forge.
I was looking at what the Zerg was doing, but more interesting, here's what the Protoss is doing.
Oh, the Overlord came back to check on this. So Serral is on top of things. Uh-oh, though. The pylon's getting set up right now. Is Serral going to come down and save this hatchery? No, he's going to give up on it. He's actually just sending another probe elsewhere.
The calculus on rushes like this is really weird because Protoss is making these pylons over here. Looks like one drone's going to come down, and he's just going to make a cannon without fully blocking it here. And he actually locks two drones in here, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Now, Haas does this a lot, and for years, players were rolling their eyes at it because it just didn't seem like this should be a way that you could win. But Haas is stuck with it, and so far, it's doing just fine in this tournament.
All right, he cancels that one cannon. The 4 drones still sitting out here, but they are not going to be able to stop the cannons at all. So they start to finish, and this hatchery's life is forfeit. It's not going to be saved.
Now, we also have another expansion over here for Zerg in the top center. So it's not like it's going to be a Zerg operating on one base, but the presence of those cannons as well by the ramp can cause for some problems. We see a robo. That's a robo?
That's a
robo being made. Okay. This is weird.
Yeah, so what you normally see from here is getting some shield batteries to go with Immortals and then maybe a Warp Prism, because if the Zerg has to go up into Roaches and Ravagers, a Warp Prism and Immortal can kill basically everything.
And here's something else funny, Artosis, is that with that outpost, if you want to call it that, in that location over there, Zerg is disjointed. There's only 2 sources of production right now for Zerg. The hatchery in the main and the hatchery that's out in the very 12 o'clock position on the map. And if you can start to push through those 2 locations, it's going to be very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, now, some Zerglings actually get in right there, so that could be a little bit of a problem. He made a shield battery at the front instead of a cannon. So unable to stop them for now. We'll see how many probes Serral can end up getting.
I do have to emphasize that Haas is very low on workers. It's 29 to 23, so we are in a very scrappy game here.
3 more shield batteries.
He needs to save that Stalker.
Yeah, he'll be able to, no problem. Backs up. He has the Immortal out now, too. The Roach War are not even ready.
That's right. He's coming in here. He's starting to put pressure. A really good surrounder on that Immortal. He needs to try to carve a hold.
Oh, no! The Immortal gets completely caught, just barely out of range of those shield batteries. A huge kill for Serral.
He needs to start another Immortal. It's going to be a little bit, though.
That could be a game-winning moment right there for Serral Tasos. That was such an important Immortal.
And I don't know if this is... Okay, never mind. We're all right. So... yeah, he got the position set up, but he needed that Immortal to come in there and start to do some damage.
Yeah.
Now, there's a whole other dilemma going on the opposite side of the map. Oh my God, catch him here on the Stalker!
Beautiful plays here by Serral to pick off another unit, and now he's making those very important Ravagers. Now, if he hadn't lost the first Immortal, the second, he would have 2 Immortals right now with the Prism on the way, and that would be a much better situation.
Okay, this is a bad position here. It looks like Serral might have this mathed out, and he does not. I thought maybe he knew that he could try to take that out. Okay, so this location that's intended to pressure for Haas is now becoming surrounded here by Serral. And keep in mind, Haas has no expansion back at home. He is living on a dream, on a prayer right now back at home as far as workers go.
Certainly, you're right about that. Now, the Prism's about to pop out, so this Immortal becomes pretty much immortal.
Okay, takes out those batteries. We've seen Serral do this before where he likes to try to target down the batteries. Now, 1 Immortal and 1 Warp Prism when you're as good as Haas can do a lot. The problem is that Serral is slowly closing in on this position.
Yeah, that's a lot of Zerglings as well. It's going to be very hard for him to actually clear all of this out. Great Corrosive Biles coming down. Serral is so clutch right now with his defense.
The batteries are getting lower and lower in numbers. That means a lot less time to recharge. The other Immortal does get out, just barely. 2 Immortals, a lot stronger than just 1.
Yeah, that's so important that he got that second Immortal for sure. And now the two Immortals tag teaming here, taking out some of the Ravagers.
The Ravagers taking some damage here, and it looks like barely they're going to be pulled away. We also had an injured Queen on the far right that was running as well.
Oh, a counterattack might be coming up here from Serral now. Looks like that Prism going to go ahead and... Oh, no, this is a bad moment right now for Haas. He really needs...
Yeah, he has nothing back here, and we just saw him shaking his head.
Yeah, that is a big deal that those got in there.
Oh my God, but actually pretty good control so far.
Yeah, 2 probes, though, go down. Still 5 Zerglings in there. Serral can get a lot of damage done. It takes a while for 2 Immortals to kill an entire Zerg.
Both of these players microing on 2 fronts right now. The Immortals continuing to push in. The link count's getting lower and lower. It's very difficult to juggle your attention between these 2 spots.
Okay, he's got to micro these Immortals perfectly. This is how he can win the game.
You can see 1 sentry coming out here, the bare minimum to try to hold off those 2 Zerglings. The Immortals are closing in. They're targeting down some drones. Right now, 19 drones here for Serral, 17 for Haas.
Oh, he's lost a lot of probes, but only 1 Zergling left over. It looks like that front is secure for now.
You can see this is a frustrating game on both sides. These links coming down now. The Immortals getting very low. Does Serral actually have enough here? The Immortals are still alive as long as they're still moving around. Oh my God, he's going to pull the drones. He's pulling the drones. He's going to ditch the main. He says that this this additional base over here to the right is actually far away enough. It's going to be a lot harder for the Immortals to try to push it. Now, there's no mining going on right now for Serral. He needs to get these over here.
Oh, and that Queen can be picked off pretty easily. Good War Prism Micro continues here. Serral trying to hold on. He has so many more units than Haas, and it looks like he's planning a gigantic counterattack. This might force a recall from Haas.
Okay, he's still taking out these Immortals, but with these 2 Immortals over here on this side of the map, there's nothing to directly counter these Lings and Roaches coming down here towards the wall and for Haas.
Oh, I think this could force a recall. We'll see about that. Continuing to harass here at that 3rd base, but Haas's main is going to be in real big trouble.
Okay, he's pulled back now. Now, with all this said and done, okay, it's been breached. The cannon's going to go down. There's 1 more cannon there. That's only going to buy a few more seconds of time. Eventually, these probes are going to be completely exposed.
Yeah, this is definitely a big issue. 3 Immortals now out for Haas. How does he want to play this? Does he just give up his base? It looks like that might be the call.
Okay, he does not have enough money for a Nexus right now. He's just trying to buy time back at home. Now, these Roaches over here, these Ravagers over here, they can be countered by these Immortals. Haas with incredible control. He loses one of the Immortals.
A missed micro there by Haas, a crucial moment, and Serral definitely gains a huge edge from that while he continues to pick off probes in the main.
He's trying to use as many workers as he can to just hold up these links. It's 15 drones here for Serral. It's 13 for Haas.
But Haas is not even mining right now. The Immortals continue to do massive amounts of damage. They can continue to pick off buildings and all this. But, I mean, if he's not mining at all at home, this is the end of it. Haas is going to have 4 Immortals, and that's it.
That's right. There are no more workers in this game. Haas has to come up with a solution as quickly as possible. His goal was to get rid of the Roach Horde as well as the spawning pool and then try to push in from there.
Okay, that means this is all the units that Serral has until he finishes that spawning pool. This is crucial. Can Haas pick these off? Serral being right under this Warp Prism. He's trying to target it with Queens. Beautiful moves here by Serral.
Now, it's 4 Immortals. It looks like Protoss doesn't have a lot to the casual observer, but don't be fooled. 4 Immortals with a Warp Prism can do an insane amount of damage.
That's right, but he has no shield batteries nearby, so he has to do this just perfectly.
Oh my God.
A second Prism. Haas spending his final remaining pennies on that.
Okay, the Lings coming in here for the surrounds. Haas has to control this perfectly. The Warp Prism goes down. The Immortals surrounded. Haas juggling backwards, but it's too many Lings. It's too many Roaches. It's too many Ravagers.
Some ridiculous micro out of Haas, and he saves 3 of them somehow, but GG is called, and Serral goes up. Haas double probe scouting. This could mean that he wants to cannon rush.
I was about to say that Haas is probably not going to like this map because you'd have to sacrifice a lot to make a cannon rush. But what am I talking about? This is Haas, so of course he's more than happy to do that. Now,
Forge goes up,
Tasteless. That's right. He's doing it. Now, does Serral still factor in that there could be a cannon rush? Generally on big maps, especially this one, with 4 starting locations, you don't always suspect the cannon rush, but it looks like Serral is crossing his T's and dotting his I's.
Well, this one drone is really looking out for it, but a second probe is coming in. So the probe could sneak by everything. We'll see.
Okay, he's planting the pylons. Now, sometimes Haas does this to fake, so Serral might be thinking about that as well.
Now you see the second probe. Oh, my God.
Okay, drones are coming now. He's got the wall in, though, which means that cannon cannot be contested for the time being.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a successful cannon rush here once again from Haas.
Now, it is possible to start making cannons on the high ground. I feel like Haas knows cannon rushes better than anybody. I don't know if he wants to go with that at all, or if this is simply to get a tempo advantage this game. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of wonder. Is he going to go for it?
Well, it looks like he wants to block the ramp first. Or no, he was. He was going to make a cannon over there. He stopped it. So this pylon doesn't necessarily mean you're going to cannon rush here. You can use that to try to get vision to the high ground.
That's very true. We've seen some people really have a hard time against a strategy like this. But an instant spine coming up here from Serral. So he's getting some of his own static defense.
Ling's coming down. This is just barely out of range. So a little dance going on with these two probes. With excellent control. Okay, he's doing it again.
Yeah, the Robo coming up, actually.
The Queen. The Queen coming over here, hitting that cannon.
This is a big deal from Serral. Good micro on the probe from Haas.
And he is nicely done there by Haas.
Wow, really an expert on how to make this work out. But as the spine helps to clear that pylon, he's going to lose the high ground vision, and the spine crawler can really help out with this going forward.
And we got to point out that even though this is the same strategy, because of the positioning and where the cannon rush starts, it has different factors. It has different variables there. The truth is that it's a lot easier for Serral to try to break down the outpost that's set up over here, simply because, oh wow, he's going to try to take out the destructible rocks over, I'm sorry, what do we call that?
Destructible plates.
Destructible.
Unbuildable bricks.
Unbuildable bricks. Thank you. Thank you, Observer. Because he wants to possibly try to wall this in.
Oh, look at this. The Stalker coming up, giving that important high ground vision, but a lot of damage from the high ground right now. The shield battery's definitely helping out a whole lot.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that this cannon was staying alive for so long. One Stalker continuing to poke forward. The Ravagers are being made, which puts a clock on this position, but the Immortal is almost out.
The Immortal is so crucial. He needs more shield batteries as well. We see 3 more being constructed. Don't forget, there's a second hatchery out there. He can get some units to actually flank with.
But you have to imagine that Haas has already accounted for that and made the proper adjustments. And there it is, the cannon over here. No battery this time around.
Yeah, really well done.
God, it's unpowered.
He unpowers all the buildings. This is huge.
Oh, my God.
This is huge, killing free shield batteries. Every single building, every single unit worth so much right now.
The Roach is coming down. Oh, that Bile is pretty sick. He's trying to get him trapped up there for a little bit longer. But, of course, the Immortal does counter Roaches. He's pushing a little bit further forward. The Warp... the Robo is back up. The Warp Prism is about to be out, which means he can micro this pretty easily.
And now with the Prism out, he picks off that spine and starts this crazy micro. It looks like Serral could be in a lot of trouble here, Tasteless.
The Ravagers are getting pretty low on HP. The Lings are coming down. There's no cannons here to help defend.
Oh, that's a very good point. He's going after the pylons. He's going to unpower everything once again, but he does have this Immortal to micro.
You can see another Crucible shot comes down. It looks like these batteries are going to save the day. He's got the Immortal in the back and sealing up this, oh my God. I think he might actually hold it. Once again, he's unpowered. Right now, Haas scrambling to try to get some more pylons up here. It all comes down to that.
This is just madness. Those Zerglings doing so much powering here with the Prism. The Bile goes down, but the Prism lives through a single Bile pretty easily.
He picks up the Immortal once again. He's backing up. We now have 2 Immortals in the fray, even though Zerglings are pretty good against Immortals. 2 of them micro correctly. Oh, wow, look at this. Serral's going to try to target down the Robo. Without that Robo, no more Immortals are going to be made.
Yeah, very nice pickoff right there, but there are 2 Immortals and a Prism out. There are some shield batteries being warped in, a cannon as well for a little bit of extra damage, but he's throwing down those Biles that are so important.
Oh, we see the battery coming down now. Really good control here by Haas. Serral trying to push in, and now those Immortals have some more shields.
Oh my God, those batteries so clutch from Haas. He continues to push Serral back. During all of this, Serral only has 24 drones. His economy not too strong, but still definitely better than Haas's.
Unreal. He's now going to try to push in here, targeting down those Roaches. He comes down back on the ramp. With the safety of these shield batteries, these Immortals can do an insane amount of damage. He's continuing to pick them up and micro them back, making them in a position where the links can't really be optimized.
Some ridiculous juggling coming out of Haas here, but Serral with so much damage getting on top of everything. Another shield battery pops out, and once again, the Immortals get healed up.
He has no more lings over here. A few more try to come down. He's trying to use those lings to draw away some of those shots, but now the Immortals can start to target these queens as well as the Ravagers.
Yeah, he's definitely got to kill those queens off. The battery's out of energy. Also, we don't have a probe here to remake any buildings. This is it for this push.
He's taking out the queen. One more queen, 2 Ravagers. The War Prism's barely got any HP left.
Oh, he's got a target down. He picks up the Immortal. A very important pickup behind this. Haas is expanding. Haas has two Stargates making oracles.
What is going on? I can't believe this.
Oh my God.
So, Serral survives the rush. The rush ends, but the craziness does not stop here. An unusual tech path from here for Haas. Getting double, I think he got, what, 2 oracles out right now?
I think he has 1 oracle.
One oracle, sorry. The rest are going to be Phoenixes. Now, note, there's not a ton of defense back at home. I mean, Serral's trying to rebuild an economy here.
Ooh, can't be losing that oracle right now. Every unit is so precious. And I think he's going for Phoenixes now. You know, if you're playing against someone that just has Roach Tech, just has Ravagers, Phoenixes definitely can be useful against that. But at this point, Haas's main is basically mined out, so he's long-distance mining. Finally, that's going to finish out.
Look at that. The patches are all gone over there. Yeah, let's keep in mind, when you have a player like Haas, even if the rush ends, he's already put the Zerg in the weird place. Haas has played a game like this way more times than Serral has.
Oh, yeah. This is Haas's games every day. He's completely comfortable in this position. And now he's just making Phoenixes. He has a single Oracle at home, a shield battery, a cannon, and Immortal. I mean, that's pretty good defensively.
That's right. More and more Phoenixes are coming into play as Serral is finally getting that 3rd hatchery up.
Okay, so as Serral, with the layer just started, what do you go into to counter Mass Phoenix? He is going to have a ton of Phoenixes.
Yeah, it's a very uneven tech here. He's now going to go ahead and hit these queens, disabling any that could do a transfuse, takes them out. And again, Haas is still in control of this game, everybody.
Yeah, but Serral, he's getting a nice queen count. He's taken his 3rd base, which is actually his natural now, in near 10 minutes. So he definitely is getting some good saturation going. But the Phoenix count continues to grow. And these Phoenixes, they're getting to such a number that he's going to be able to dive in, and if all the queens aren't there, get a lot of drone kills.
A 3rd Nexus comes down. With the amount of Phoenixes that are on the map, it's going to be hard for Zerg to ever go down there and try to contest it, especially with an Oracle protecting it. And look at this.
Oh, look at, yeah, diving in on top of these drones. He's going to get a lot of kills. Even with a 2nd Spore coming up, not that much of a problem. There's a lot of Phoenixes here to take that damage.
It's pretty unreal. The worker count almost evened out there for a little bit. It's 42 drones here for Serral and 38 probes here for Haas. And Haas is still, he's getting a lot of value with these Phoenixes.
Yeah, even killing that Overseer. I believe that Overseer was probably just a sneak-in scout here from Serral. I think he really wants to know what Haas is up to next, because he needs to counter it hard. If Haas comes suddenly with a bunch of charged Zealots, then Serral's just going to die. He really needs to know ahead of time.
By the way, we just caught wind that Serral has not scouted the 3rd base. He may be suspecting a 2-base timing all in.
Yeah, you could definitely be right about that. Haas, I mean, he takes 3rd bases sometimes, but not too much.
Okay, now Serral knows he has to make the proper adjustments, but already more gateways are coming down. Haas is gearing up for a fight, and Serral knows if Protoss has a 3rd base, Zerg needs to get a 4th.
Well, Serral is getting a Spire against someone who has a ton of Phoenixes. This can only mean that he's going to go into Corruptors, which is kind of crazy, really. But if you get enough Corruptors to push back all these Phoenixes, you can suddenly use their Caustic Spray and pick off Nexuses and Pylons and Gateways and Stargates.
Gateways are continuing to be made, Zealot legs as well as weapons being upgraded. Haas is playing the games of his life here at the WCS Valencia Finals. The Phoenixes are keeping Serral very, very honest. Now, one thing I want to point out, the 4th base that Serral is taking is very close to where Haas is. That's a very short distance, at least on this map, to push from.
Yeah, definitely could be something that Haas goes after first as the legs and +1 finish up. A ton of gateways coming out. Now, here are the 9 Corruptors. The 9 Corruptors can deal with these Phoenixes for sure, especially with Queens. But with the tech transition coming up right now for Haas, is Serral going to have enough ground units to really do anything?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Artos, is even if Serral has an answer to these Phoenixes over here, does Haas already pose another question by having a strong ground army? The Corruptors are basically useless in most cases against a ground army.
Yeah, very much so. They're just for those Phoenixes. And I mean, there's a lot of Phoenixes. If we get a quick count on that, it looks like 12 Phoenixes against 9 Corruptors. So the Corruptors very tanky against these.
Okay, now they can hit the...
Ooh, that's a good pickoff.
Beat me before I could say it. I was going to say they can get the Warp Prism, which would hiccup the rush.
Now, it looks like Haas wants to go for a full-on attack. A lot of roaches are being made, and the Queens have a ton of energy, so transfusions are going to be key here.
Is Serral... Serral might just ditch this base.
Yeah, he is definitely ditching it. He does not want to die.
He's trying to build a wall over here. He does not want to have to fight this, but the Phoenixes are coming in, and Immortal in the back with a lot of Zealots. Haas does not blink at that wall in.
No, he runs right past, starts lifting up as much as he can. The Corruptors trying to pick them off while the Zealots are dealing damage. It's certainly every Phoenix is going to go down, but will Serral live through this ground assault?
Haas gives up his air army to win a fight on the ground. He's pushing forward. We do not have a Warp Prism over here just yet, so he is deep in Serral's territory.
Oh, more and more Zealots come up. They stop at that hatchery, so this main army might be picked off. This might be a chance for Serral to try to recover.
Right now, Serral's Zealots are split up, some of them attacking locations that are of insignificance.
The multitasking here of Haas really having a hard time, and GG is called. Serral ekes out game number 4.
His opponent here in the upper left, in the red. Give it up for Haas.
The map is Redshift. And to be honest, Haas has actually been losing Redshift a little bit. We've seen it a few times here today and yesterday, and he's actually gone 1 and 2 on it. But it seems like he always gets an advantage on this map. Now, what's he going to do against Serral?
This is a funny map because this seems like a map that Haas could really abuse. Whatever the best... Oh, here we go again.
Of course.
Whatever the best PvZ strategy, PvZ all-in, I guess you could say, that Haas has, we're going to see it now. Now, because of the way these gold minerals are placed, you have a very alternative way to cannon rush because it's much harder for Zerg to contest this.
And, I mean, I would imagine that Haas should be able to break through this hatchery, right? Like, you can build a cannon on this side. You can hop a probe even over if you want to.
Okay, so there's the cannon, the first one. Now, Haas, Serral knows that this is coming. So what exactly is his plan? We have a third hatchery being taken at the bottom. So we're probably going to get in a at least somewhat similar position. Okay, so what Serral wants to do is have Haas spend additional money and basically waste it by controlling a position that realistically Serral doesn't really care about.
Yeah.
Now, is there a rush position that Serral wants, or Haas wants to try to take from here?
Well, Haas is making his own Nexus.
Yeah.
But what tech will he go with from here? He already has his cybernetics core. Okay, a Stargate comes up. I think that that's a really good choice here for Haas, because when you're doing a cannon rush, generally a Roach Warren does come down. Now, Serral sees that. So there's a lot of information on both sides here.
So there's a probe over on this side, which means they could have some more structures built on Serral's territory. But I would have to say, out of all the positional plays involving cannons here between Haas and Serral, I think Serral's going to be the most comfortable with this one, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's just going to have a natural. He's taking a third base, just kind of ignoring that gold base area. And I can't really foresee him taking too much damage. He already knows there's a Stargate on the way.
In fact, I think mathematically, Serral should simply put just be ahead here, because when you look at it, the amount of money that you spend on the pylon and the cannon when it's not doing a ton, unless Haas can really make this work later on, I think it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, he can use it as a warping location or something later on, but I can't imagine him getting a significant advantage off of that right now.
Now, the math can be a little bit fuzzy here because it is going to be Haas mining from a gold base, whereas Serral is mining from 2 blue mineral bases, the basic minerals. So let's see what happens here. It's going to be a Void Ray coming out here after that Oracle.
Okay. I mean, I'll bite. What are you going to do with this Void Ray? It can just be defensive because you know some roaches are out. Maybe something to kind of defend against this type of play from Serral.
You can see the roaches coming up here and trying to get rid of some of these probes. No real impact there, though. And especially with the Void Ray there, I think that's no longer going to be a viable option to try to slow drip roaches into that position.
Looks like a Robo and a Twilight on the way. This could just turn into one of Haas's more normal builds, quote unquote, right? Maybe get into charge, get a few Immortals and some Sentries and try to play like that. But we saw what happened when the game normalized in that situation against Serral in game number 1.
The Oracle comes down, does not get any kills just yet, doing a little bit of damage over here. Getting lower and lower on energy. And I guess this is all that Haas could really ask for. And nope, does not even get that drone. Nicely done by Serral.
Well, not too many kills here on that Oracle, but he will get it out alive. In the meantime, charge coming up. A lot of mineral income for Haas at this point. He's got that gold saturated very, very well. And let's not forget, he does have that pylon across the map that can warp into Serral's back main.
Oracle going to come down here. Again, fairly low on energy. It seems like Serral's getting to where he wants to be in his ZVP, where he's got a good macro engine. He's able to produce. He's able to survey what Haas is doing and simply counter it, play around it.
Yeah. You know, but he doesn't have a lair, for instance, here. He doesn't have a Baneling Nest. He's mostly just sitting on roaches. So we definitely could see a lot of charge lots do some damage, but there's no Immortals, no Sentries. So I'm not sure how much Haas can get done.
So we also saw that Void Ray coming across the map. Now, what Haas is trying to do is eliminate spotters. On the right side of the map, we have Lings patrolling over here. And really, Serral just wants to be prepared. I think Serral thinks the longer this game goes, the more likely he is to win. And we're seeing a large supply disparity here. Haas at 56 with Serral at 85.
Yeah, that is a lot of units being made. Now, this looks to be the plan. Okay, warp in 6 Zealots over here and have the Prism go elsewhere. If all the units are in the wrong spot, some of these Zealots will do a lot of damage.
Okay, so oh my God, those Queens are right over there, but they do not go for that Warp Prism. And look, so he should be able to get a warp in here if he wants. And now the Zealots come down into the main, hitting these drones.
Yeah, not too many units here, but a lot of roaches coming up, so it should be cleaned up pretty well. Great building placement coming in here for Serral also.
Wow, and there's a Void Ray there too, but now these Zealots come down here and begin to hammer away at this hatchery.
Can they actually kill that hatchery? That is a tall task, I would say. The Void Ray definitely adding a good amount of damage in here as well, but it seems like everything's been deflected for now.
Haas coming in with a really intelligent and unusual attack, but Serral easily swats it down.
Yeah, he swats it down for now, but he's forced to just sit here making roaches and queens. So this could work into the favor of Haas a little bit later on. He's starting to make some Immortals here. He's getting +2 attack at this point, already has that +1. So these are things that he can use a little bit later on to win the game, possibly.
Well, Immortals are beginning to come out. We know Haas is very good and comfortable with those units. But Serral continues to grow. He continues to tech and upgrade. Will there be an actual push here from Haas that can really do the damage to knock over Serral? I just don't think so.
Well, we shall see coming up here. Looks like Serral going to get rid of this cannon finally, and that warping point will be gone as well. So definitely has to, will be happy about this. He's going to worry a little bit less about those warpins in the back.
Now, we don't see a third base here at all for Haas.
Yeah.
And we're still waiting. But then again, it may be Haas's intention to not take a third base at all. He does like to do his timing attacks. We can see he's going to ferry some of his army over here onto the low ground on this side of the map and then try to push from there. Let's keep our eyes on that Warp Prism, because if the Warp Prism is knocked off, then the rush can't reinforce.
Yeah, that's a very important point. Now, 3 Sentries, a ton of Zealots, and 3 Immortals is the army of choice here for Haas. Looks like he wants to bring the Prism towards that main base, maybe to draw the units up there. The rest of his army starting to move south.
Okay, right now Serral in a pretty decent position. And this attack is now going to come in. He uses the Oracle to try to spot, to decide if he wants to come in. We don't have a warp in just yet. It looks like there's actually too many roaches back here as well.
Dropping those Zealots behind, but great spine placement here, along with roaches, will clean this up pretty well.
You notice that Serral is not flinching, but Haas is not mass warping in. And Haas has already gone all the way around. It looks like he's on the creep over here, and he wants to try to push into this location.
Oh, I don't know if this is going to work. There are a lot of transfusions on those queens.
Okay, you can see Haas tries to come in, but there are so many queens, so many roaches and zerglings. The Zealots are rapidly disappearing, and now it's just the sentries and the Immortals exposed.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Haas. It looks like this army is going to get cleaned up. Those Immortals in a lot of trouble. A big warp in the main base during all this as well.
Zealots trying to hit from another position, but the main army here from Haas has been driven away. I think Haas is hemorrhaging too many Zealots.
But is he, though? He's still doing a lot of damage with these Immortals, doing the best he can with his micro, pulling backwards, kiting against these roaches, being as efficient as possible.
The problem is there's no warp prism with these Immortals to micro them, so eventually he closes in, surrounds them, and takes them out. GG! Serral has done it yet